how strong you are as a woman, a man will always abuse you. And I was really kind of suffering with my health and well-being because of this belief. And so it was realizing that this actually isn't true for me. It's just something that I've inherited.
How did you gain awareness of those beliefs keeping you stuck? And then how were they cleared? What was the process there?
Yeah, so the process was everybody has fears, everybody has insecurities, and it's not a personal failure. It's just about being human.
What's your process once you start working with someone like that?
You can't feel any joy or celebration or meaning in the success because you've pushed the feelings to the side so much that all you can feel is all these accumulated feelings that you've pushed to the side, or a sense of numbness of not even being able to really feel anything at all. But if you want to be a multidimensional human and actually feel the success that you're working so hard for, then you need to bring all of yourself along the journey.
The coaching space it's changing. It's changed a lot. We've now got AI in the space as well. What will make a great coach in 2026?
Well, I think the key piece is
welcome to another special interview episode of Profit Made Simple. Today we have someone that I've known quite some time. She is a mindset coach, a high performance coach, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Kylie Ryan, welcome.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here, Dan.
This is fantastic. You and I have known each other a long time. We've been in very similar circles in the fitness space, in the coaching space, and now we get to unpack your incredible brain and story.
Oh, I'm pleased to be here.
So right now I want to talk about your journey a little bit. Let's go back a little bit and talk about how you got into this coaching space, because when I learned about you, you were anxious, you were overweight at some stage, you were a little directionless, and now you are one of the leaders in our coaching industry.
Thank you.
You transformed so many lives.
Yeah.
So how did you get here from where you were?
Thank you. So I've been coaching now for 22 years.
Wow.
So coaching really found me long before it became a thing. I mean, I was singing, actually. I was in a singing lesson, and my singing teacher had just gotten involved with and just started learning NLP, so neuro-linguistic programming, which you know about. It's amazing kind of coaching methodology. And at the time, so I was 23 at the time, I was overweight, like quite significantly overweight. I was nearly like 90, 100 kilos up and down, and not in a really good place. You know, I was kind of, like you say, directionless. I was partying a lot. I was working as a waitress. I was trying to, earn my way through university, doing a communications degree, but very, just quite like down on myself, no self-worth, even though I had a lot of, I guess, potential, but just really didn't believe in myself. And she had just kind of discovered this NLP processes. And so she was like, hey, can I practice on you?
So you were a guinea pig.
I was her guinea pig.
And that was Alice, right? Now, Alice is a bit of a legend in the NLP space. Alice is a bit of
a legend in the NLP space.
Yeah, because there's lots of people that can kind of track their origins back to Alice.
Yeah.
And she just observed this in you. She knew that your self-worth was low.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was going for auditions, but I was kind of getting really anxious before the auditions. And she said, oh, let's just, I've just learnt this new thing. Can I practice with you? And literally after the first session, Dan, you know how those old movies are like in black and white and then like they recolor them or something, and so it goes from black and white into color. I remember walking out of her home, which was in Manly at the time, and walking out onto the street, and it literally felt like the world was different. Like something had fundamentally transformed
in one session. Something
just
shifted.
In the first session where we did a belief clear, and it was like I could see colors differently. I could experience joy in a new way. And that's kind of the best way I can describe it. It was such a
very good way of describing
such a fundamental shift that it changed the way I was perceiving reality.
I want to unpack that a little bit because
it was wild.
You said a couple of words there, a belief clear. So what that tells me is that there were some beliefs keeping you stuck that you did need to clear.
Yeah.
How did you gain awareness of those beliefs keeping you stuck?
Yeah.
And then how were they cleared? Were they replaced by more empowering beliefs?
Yeah.
What was the process there?
Yeah. So the process was kind of a pretty standard kind of NLP detailed history. So she kind of unpacked and asked me things about my life and about my family and my parents and, the kind of standard, what's your life been like? How, what are some of the common themes in your family? And there it became revealed to me. So this is like I was quite overweight at the time, and partying a lot and not much self-esteem. And so I was kind of sleeping around and like that type of like really low self-worth. And it turned out when we kind of unpacked the family history that in the women in my family had all been through some kind of abusive situation. My mother, my grandmother on both sides, my grandmothers on both sides had been in some kind of abusive situation. And so what we uncovered was this belief that I had inside that no matter how strong you are as a woman, because all of the women in my family are very strong. They're like, my mum's a horsewoman and a horse trainer, and my grandmother was a sailor, won an Order of Australia medal. So really strong, powerful women. And so I had this belief that no matter how strong you are as a woman, a man will always abuse you.
Wow, that is a terrible belief.
Terrible belief.
And you weren't aware of this belief?
I wasn't aware of it at all.
Okay,
it was
so this
really deeply unconscious, and it only came up through the kind of exploration processes.
Okay, because it's interesting because beliefs serve a purpose.
Yeah, they do.
And so the purpose for you is that this belief will keep me safe.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was like, this is the family history. This is what we've experienced, and it was it was just like a warning signal in the back of my mind of this is not a safe situation to get into a relationship. And so then my body, like even though at the time I had been going to the gym, I had been trying to eat well and diet and, do all the things. I was studying at university but I kind of couldn't get into a good relationship and I was really kind of suffering with my health and well-being because of this belief, but I didn't realize it was running the show. And so I was really trying to eat well. I was trying to exercise. I was going to the gym, but I wasn't finding that I was making any real inroads in change because at the same time I was also partying, I was drinking, I was, eating hamburgers on the weekend, that kind of thing. It's like, eat really well through the week and then blow out on the weekend.
Well, that's how it operates so discreetly, but at the same time. So there was this recognition, hey, like I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all the things.
Yeah.
But then the subconscious belief was, hey, if you have more weight, that's going to keep you safe. That's going to hold me from abuse.
Yeah.
And so that was running the show.
Yeah. It was really running the show. And I had no idea it was there until we uncovered it in the session. And then we cleared it using a timeline therapy process. So a visualization process of kind of imagining and going back in time to where the belief started and then kind of getting a new perspective on it. And I realized, this isn't actually my problem. This is this is a generational thing. It's like I've never experienced abuse, thank God. And so it was realizing that this actually isn't true for me. It's just something that I've inherited. And so once I learned that, then I could really see, this is actually not helping me to do what I want to do or be who I want to be. And so that really fundamentally shifted
Hence why you saw the world in color after that.
It was wild.
But that happens to everybody, right? We adopt these beliefs. We're not sure how we adopted those beliefs.
Yeah.
It may, like I talk a lot about money and beliefs, for example.
For sure. There's so many juicy money beliefs that you can dive
much
into.
There's
so much there.
And we adopt these beliefs. Quite often it's because we may have grown up in a church or we grew up in a low to middle class family.
Yep.
And they're saying certain things, and then that runs the script in terms of what we do when we get money, how we hoard it, how we spend it, how we charge.
Yep.
And it runs the script. So
it does.
when you see people now where no doubt they have these beliefs that are no longer serving them. And logically, they're probably going, well, I'll do the workout. I'll eat the good food.
Yeah.
What's your process of helping them, A, identify it because they don't even know it's there, and then B, clearing it?
Yeah. So it's so interesting and so rewarding, like being now at this kind of place where I can really see and have a level of expertise in coaching that I can see what's going on very quickly in a client just through years and years of experience.
How do you see it? Is it the words? Is it body language?
Yeah, it's the thing that really points out the issues is what we call semantically loaded phrases. So phrases that someone says that have extra emotion, that
semantically loaded
extra emotion on the phrase that indicates that it's connected to some kind of unconscious schema or unconscious kind of basically like a map of beliefs and emotions in there. And so it's like, oh, I would never do that.
Yeah, and so absolute just like statements.
That, absolute statements, or anytime there's something where never, must, should, have to, like using these kinds of words are usually an indication that there's some kind of belief, some kind of pattern running. And you can always tell when there's extra energy in the words, or there's some kind of physical manifestation. It might be subtle, it might be a twitch, or it might be a tightening of the jaw or a tensing of the body, those types of things that we become, when we train coaches, we train them to be very sensory aware, like really looking at the client, really listening with not just their ears, but like their whole body.
A real curiosity you have to have.
Real curiosity, yeah. And so it's like, what is going on for this person and what's happening for them and what's causing them to be this way and create this type of result for themselves? Because I like to say, if there's anything in your life that's currently happening for you that you wouldn't consciously choose, anything in your life that you wouldn't consciously choose to be there, that's an indication that some part of your unconscious mind is creating that or complicit with creating that. So some part of you, like if you're, like for me, when I was struggling with my weight, I didn't want to be overweight, but some part of my mind in my unconscious was like, no, you have to have this extra padding to protect yourself. Or like with money beliefs, like a lot of people want to grow their business, want to, become more wealthy, grow their revenue, but there might be some kind of internal thermostat, internal glass ceiling of like, if I earn more than this amount, I'm going to I'm going to stand out too much, or people are going to start asking me for money,
or my old friends won't want to be around me anymore.
Exactly. So we have our own internal thermostat of, how successful we're allowed to be, how fit we're allowed to be, how good looking we're allowed to be. A lot of, for many years after I initially lost weight, I worked in the niche of weight loss mindset, which is where I met you.
I remember.
Kind of was around the fitness industry.
Yes.
Like I was kind of on the fringes of the fitness industry, knowing a lot of personal trainers and a lot of people in gyms and things, and just kind of being the mindset person in the health industry. And so that really kind of pointed to a lot of those deeper issues of a lot of people, women especially that I used to work with, would have a block around becoming too slim in case they became too attractive and it had a negative impact on their relationship or their marriage.
It's crazy when you say it out aloud.
Right.
But that is determining why they can't move forward and why they keep reverting. Even if they lose a few kilos, they keep going back to the baseline thermostat.
Yeah.
The rubber band.
Yeah, it's like, this is where I feel safe. Maybe I'm a little bit chubbier than I want to be, but then I'm not getting too much attention. I'm not going to have any temptations. I'm not going to, mess up my family, because the mind just kind of goes, well, what would happen if I was too good looking? Then someone might approach me and then I might have an affair, and then I might ruin my marriage, and then I might mess up my kids, and then I might be on the street and everyone would hate me and blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh my God, well, I better eat this donut now so that I don't ruin my whole life.
But it's not playing out like that. But it's
not conscious. Like all of this is below your conscious awareness, which is why it's so difficult to change.
Big time.
Yeah.
And so you've transitioned. You were helping people in the health space.
Yeah.
Now you are the coach behind some of the biggest coaches in this world, in this realm.
Yeah.
And that's got to be cool. Working.
It kind of is. Yeah. It's like, the coach that coaches the coaches. And the coach that coaches the coaches that coach the coaches. It's just hilarious.
Yeah. I jumped on your website and I was like, oh, yeah, you're working with Alex Scharf and you're working with Phil Graham.
Yeah.
And you work with many other people that I know as well.
Yeah.
And I correct me if I'm wrong, but you came up with the term successfully stuck.
Successfully stuck. Yes.
Okay.
I've been thinking about that of like, how do I really connect with these people that are very successful business-wise and have a very strong public profile, but there's, stuff going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and this really hit me between the eyes because from the outside lens, they look very successful. Well, they are very successful,
They are very
right?
successful.
By the worldly objective measures, they're making lots of money, they're having big impact, they got big communities.
Yeah.
Yet there's a level of emptiness.
Yeah.
And I was reflecting on that, and I know there's been points at time where I've felt that emptiness, even though the outside metrics would say, well, you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be, which there shouldn't be that.
Should. Yeah. Yeah. There's a semantically loaded phrase,
there
right?
we go, right? Now I'm watching every word I say.
It's okay. Speak freely.
I'm getting my mind read over here. And so let's unpack that. How does someone land in that position?
Yeah.
How do they rectify it?
Yeah.
What's your process once you start working with someone like that?
Yeah. Well, firstly, it's like it's not a personal failing. That's I think an important piece to get out. It's like people that find themselves in this place are very driven, are very motivated, are very much high performers, are kind of go-getting type of people, ambitious and generous and kind and, often really wonderful humans who are doing great things in the world. So I think it's important to recognize that, everybody has these internal things that are going on. Everybody has fears. Everybody has insecurities, and it's not a personal failing. It's just about being human. And I think what happens particularly with high performers is that there is such a high standard that high performers hold for themselves that it kind of becomes like almost like a drill sergeant in their own mind of, well, you have to show up in this way and you have to, keep pushing through. And a lot of people, particularly from the fitness industry that go into business, I mean, we've seen recent conversation between Alex Hormozi and Tony Robbins. That's like a great example of that.
Fantastic of Successfully Struck, isn't it?
A really great example.
Yeah,
of
and everybody out there, jump on Kylie's Facebook page and read your
I did a little
insight
analysis.
and analysis. Superb. I loved it.
Thank you.
Because I listened to the interview first and then read your analysis.
Yeah.
And yes, it very much Alex fits that mold that you described.
He fits that mold. And lovely person, really ambitious, very generous, doing great things in the world, but it's coming from a level of force of pushing through your own discomfort and overriding your own feelings to the point where like he'd made a mantra about it. But, a lot of people kind of operate in that same paradigm of push through, just get it done. Don't worry about how you feel about it. Just show up and do what needs to be done.
If you do feel like this, push it to the side because that's going to get in your way and you still got to keep moving forward.
Yeah. And, that's not wrong.
Well, it works to an extent, right? And that's the double-edged sword because that tenacity, that standard, that dedication, that drive, that commitment will end up enabling you to build a successful business in many cases.
Yeah.
So you land at what you want or what you think you want.
Yeah, you land in the place that you want if you can keep going and keep pushing through. The challenge is that when you continually push your emotions to the side and continually go, oh, I'm not going to listen to that feeling of insecurity, or I'm not going to listen to that feeling of tiredness. I'm not going to listen to that feeling of fear, and I'm just going to keep moving forward. Then you get to the success and you can't feel any happiness in that success. You can't feel any, joy or celebration or meaning in the success because you've pushed the feelings to the side so much that all you can feel is all these accumulated feelings that you've pushed to the side, or a sense of numbness of not even being able to really feel anything at all.
So you really do impact your ability to feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you get that back? Because you land at the end destination and you're like, oh, I'm empty. Yeah.
Meh. I thought this would feel different. I thought it would solve all my problems.
Yeah. And this is the term emotional constipation, right? That you come up with. Another great term. Like, you've got some magnificent terms. But this resonated with me because I've been guilty of this in the past. Yeah. And I think, there's certain coaches or philosophies that will drive this.
There is, yes. There is.
And even Alex to an extent. And I love his teachings.
Yeah.
But he's very much been an advocate of fuck happiness.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I think it's taking, the unconscious mind, all of our minds delete, distort, and generalize about information. And so we delete and we distort and we generalize based on our patterns, our paradigms, what we think is important. And so I think a lot of people in the success, entrepreneurship, business arena have taken the principles of Stoicism just a little bit too far. Just a little bit too far. Gone, well, don't worry about these feelings. You've got to go into battle. And, if you're going into battle, that's perfectly a reasonable thing. There's no tears on the battlefield. You'll get your head chopped off.
But the context of business is a little different.
The context of business is a little bit different. And you need to not just go out and conquer on the battlefield of business, but also be able to come home and be present with your kids and talk
we are
to your
multi-dimensional
wife
human beings. We just can't be this emotionless, I'm just going to go through no matter what I'm feeling and then come home and actually have empathy and have a relationship.
Yeah, because that's the thing is when you numb, it's almost like your own willpower creates a kind of antidepressant, a kind of natural antidepressant. It's like, okay, I'm not going to feel any of these feelings of, fear or frustration at work. I'm just going to keep pushing through. But then at home, your wife says to you, oh, hey, how was your day, dear? What's going on? You're like, oh, yeah, it was fine, or talk in business talk. But you can't then, it makes it more difficult to switch gears into being a sensitive, emotionally connected human with your kids, with your partner, with your friends. And so you become a really great business machine. And that's great if that's what you want. But if you want to be a multidimensional human and actually feel the success that you're working so hard for, then you need to bring all of yourself along the journey, your feelings as well.
How do you, so once you've numbed yourself, and we talked about beliefs before, we're probably reinforcing beliefs because we're getting the rewards of that.
Yeah.
How do we then start to unpack that a little bit?
How do we unconstipate the emotions?
Yeah, that's right. What's the laxative?
What's the laxative? Well, it's, do you want the sugar-coated answer or do you want the truth?
Let's go with the truth. I need to hear the truth.
Go for the truth. Well, ultimately, if you want to be able to feel the success that you've built, you have to first be willing to feel full stop. Right? You have to be willing to feel whatever you're feeling. And so in order to feel the fullness of your happiness, you've also got to be willing to feel the fullness of your sadness. In order to feel bliss, you've got to be willing to feel, grief and upset. In order to set powerful boundaries, you've got to be willing to feel your anger. And so I think a lot of people have made emotions wrong and gone, I don't need this, this is going to slow me down.
So it's almost like a smorgasbord. It's like, I don't need
I don't need those feelings. I only want these feelings.
Yeah, these will serve me. These won't. So I'll just put a lid on those.
Yeah. But you just, every time you then put a lid on, every time you squash an emotion down, then you are limiting a part of your bandwidth. If you think about like the kind of computer CPU, RAM or, processing power metaphor, every time you repress an emotion, a part of your unconscious mind power has to be diverted to keeping that suppressed. And so the more you suppress, the more of your own internal power is gone into the suppression. I like to, think about this. If you had playing in the pool as a kid and you have a basketball and you try and hold the basketball on the bottom of the pool, how much effort does it take to hold the basketball on the bottom of the pool?
Yeah.
So much effort, right? And the more basketballs you try to hold on the bottom of the pool.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And that's what emotions are like, because they are designed to pop up. So there's an unconscious mind mechanism where if you go through trauma, your unconscious mind will repress certain emotions to keep you safe. Like if you're a child and you go through some trauma or war zone or, terrible experience, your unconscious mind will repress those and you'll kind of lose your memory for that period of time. And then later on in life, when you're more of a well-adjusted adult and you have maybe some supportive relationships around you, or you've got a great therapist, those emotions and memories will start to resurface to be processed. And so your unconscious mind kind of gatekeeps really traumatic memories to protect your mind. It's like children can't process those lots of these different things. And so then it comes back as an adult to be dealt with from a more mature perspective. But when you're consciously going, I don't need that, I don't need that.
Yeah. Who's got time?
Don't need that feeling. Who's got time for that feeling? Then you're consciously kind of repressing it down, and it's going to take even more energy. And so ultimately, emotions are almost like, if you think of it like smoke in a chimney stack, it wants to come up and be released. And so what people don't realize is that when you feel the emotion, it's going to take, up to 3 minutes to feel the emotion, and then it's going to pass. You're not going to be feeling the same emotion over and over for ages and ages and ages. And so people are afraid of feeling their emotions, but ultimately it's just a sensation. It might be an uncomfortable sensation. There might be tears, there might be jaw clenching, there might be frustration, it might be heat in your body. But when you start to notice and think about emotions and stop believing that they're dangerous or irrelevant, or, not useful for your purpose, and start seeing them as data points from your own inner self. That is one data point, maybe not the only data point, but a data point that you should pay attention to. Then you can start to actually notice the sensation, allow it to be there, and notice what comes
so that's the first step. It's really step. Observation.
It's observation, yeah. Okay. And giving yourself permission to actually feel what's actually there. Because a lot of times we go, I shouldn't feel, like you say, I shouldn't feel frustrated. I shouldn't feel ungrateful. I'm so successful. I shouldn't feel like this.
Yes.
But if you do, you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you trying to subscribe to some way of being that society says you should? You should be grateful. Well, maybe I'm not feeling
I'm not feeling grateful right now. It doesn't mean I don't feel grateful for what I've created or, but it's like you're allowed to feel upset sometimes. You're allowed to feel unmotivated. You're allowed to feel frustrated. And the more we actually, it's a paradox, because the more we give ourselves permission to feel whatever we're feeling, the more peaceful we actually feel. The more we try to suppress the negative feelings, the more those negative feelings build up and become kind of like the emotional constipation that then can sometimes come out in blow-ups, because then when you kind of repressing those emotions like the balloon underwater, it might come out in snapping at your wife, in being short-tempered with your kids, in, overreacting on the sports field or yelling at some other kid on the sports field, because it's a lot of emotion that's in there that's going to come out when it's triggered.
This is fascinating because,
isn't it?
Yes, it is. And guilty as charged on some of these.
Me too. It's human. It's human.
Do you see it more in males than females?
The emotional repression, I mean, societal conditioning would say yes.
Okay.
You know, societal conditioning, boys don't cry, don't be a sissy, just get on with it. You know, there's been a lot of conditioning for men to repress their emotions.
Yes.
And then a lot more kind of accessibility for women to have conversations, to be emotional. There's a lot more permission for women to be emotional than for men. There's a lot of social backlash if, you know, you cry. Oh, there's no crying in baseball. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, absolutely. Like I look at, my mates when I grew up. There's no way you're going to share any kind of emotion, vulnerability. Now, different now that we're a little older and more mature.
Thankfully,
but the names you would have been called and the belittlement.
Yeah,
you've got to repress.
Yeah, and it's sad, but it's true.
It is,
and it's like that type of conditioning. Then, obviously, the men and women are wired differently in their brains as well. So the corpus callosum between the left and right hemisphere of the brain tells us that men take longer to language their emotions. So women often feel like men don't feel. But men feel very deeply and profoundly. And I mean, I'm not a man, but I've certainly worked with a lot of men, and there is a lot of feeling in all of the men that I've come across. But what is often not there is the amount of safety and space holding for a man to actually take the time to go inside himself, find the emotion, and then language what it actually is. Whereas women have a thicker corpus callosum between their left and right hemispheres of their brain, so they're more quickly able to jump between feeling, languaging, so they can talk about their feelings.
You are very good at that, women.
Women are very good at that, right? And it's to do with our neurology. It's to do with our physiology. It's not right or wrong. It's just the way we're wired, you know. And I think there's a really great teacher who I love her work. Alison Armstrong does a lot of great conversations and books about how women can be more supportive of men to actually hold space for them to kind of open up and have those deeper conversations. There's, some really great work there that she's done around, actually just ask and then shut up.
Yeah. Okay. Don't try to be a fixer. Just let it be. Create the space.
Yeah, create the space. And that kind of goes both ways. So if women ask a question like, oh, hey, honey, how was your day? Or how do you feel about that? And then the man pauses to think about it and find the information. And then she's already gone on to something else and talked about something else and interrupted his process. And so he never gets to answer the first question because she's jumped in with another question and another thing and another thing. And then it's like, oh, you don't open up to me. Maybe you're not giving enough space for him to open up to you.
We're going to have people listening to this, watching this, and they're going to be like, oh
my God.
I feel judged. No, not judged. I feel heard. And it's like I have been repressing. And so now I start observing. Observing, and then I start just actually feeling the emotion itself.
Yeah.
And that's where it begins.
That's where it begins. And I like to think of it like this as a metaphor. If you imagine that your emotions are a message from your unconscious, and it's like the postman is there with a package at your door saying, hey, I've got this package for you, and he's knocking on the door and you're not answering the door. So that's like, I'm going to repress my emotions. Like there's something knocking at the door, but I don't want to know about it. I don't want to even open that package. I don't want to know what's inside. It's going to feel bad. There's going to be something bad in there. I don't want it, Yeah. Like you're kind of avoiding a tax bill or something, But if you actually just go, okay, I'm going to open the door. I'm going to allow this feeling to exist, and I'm going to actually give it space to exist, and I'm going to give it space to be heard, then you might actually, allow yourself to feel the sensations, whether it's heat in your chest or like heart palpitations or like stress or tears or, whatever it is that's coming through that emotion, and you just allow it to exist and just breathe with it and be with it and allow it to be for just a few minutes. Just allow it to be there and accept it. Just open the door and accept whatever the feeling is. I'm feeling frustrated.
Nothing more than that. Just accept it.
Yeah, just accept it. I'm feeling ashamed. I'm feeling humiliated. I'm feeling whatever. If you allow yourself to feel it, then you will get a new insight on the other side of that. The feeling will come like a wave and it will pass. Just like I know you have a lot of time in the ocean. We both live on the ocean. And when you have like if the emotion is like a wave, choosing to dive into and under the wave, you're going to have a much smoother time than if you battle on the surface and try and resist it and then you get smashed by the wave. Dive in under the wave, go with it, let the emotion roll through your body, and then you'll pop out the other side and you'll often find that there will be some kind of insight or realization or some kind of aha moment that will happen, or just a feeling of release, which all of those things are good things. And so, yeah, it's like allowing the emotions to be stops you from having this kind of emotional constipation that makes you more likely to get triggered in, and act in ways that you might later regret.
So insightful. I could talk on this
I know.
forever and a day.
Me too.
Oh.
22 years and I'm still like so curious and excited about it.
I'm very curious, and I feel like I'm getting my own session here as well.
Yes.
But I want to move on to actually coaching itself, because you've been a coach for a long time, as have I. And the coaching space it's changing. It's changed a lot.
It has.
There's been a lot of new coaches join the market.
Yeah.
We've now got AI in the space as well. And so I want to talk about what will make a great coach in 2026, because everyone listening to watching this are coaches. They're fitness coaches, they're health coaches.
Yeah.
And right now, a lot of their clientele can get answers click of their fingers.
Yeah.
And so information is abundant.
Yeah.
But that's not exactly our role as a coach.
It's not.
So what is our role, and how do we have a really important place?
Yeah, this is great. This is a really interesting conversation to have now at the kind of dawn of AI, impacting so many industries, and coaching is definitely being impacted very radically. Like, yes, you can use AI to help you build out your social media and do all sorts of wonderful things in your business, but also, like you say, now clients, the value of strategic advice and best practice information is trending towards zero, because you can ask ChatGPT, you can ask Claude, hey, give me a fitness program. You can put in your blood work and your nutritional, whatever it is, profile, and say, give me a personalized diet
the perfect
plan.
program, perfect nutrition plan.
Instantly. And so especially fitness and health professionals, when the primary part of the role has been in giving advice and consulting and being the expert that tells the client what to do. Hey, you need to do this. You need to do XYZ fitness program. You need to follow this nutrition program. Now, the opportunity for coaches in this realm is to really lean harder into the transformational facilitation aspect of coaching, which is, not just this is what you need to do, but hey, let's help you close the gap between what you're currently doing and what we know you need to do, and help you to actually transform who you are on the inside so that you can do that without needing excessive willpower, without needing to force yourself. So fitness coaches have been like, traditionally speaking, give the program, be the accountability
it's been
support.
Much more prescription based.
It's more prescription. It's more consultative. And I guess the opportunity now for fitness coaches is to close that skill gap and learn some new skills about really going deeper into becoming a mindset coach, a transformation coach, a facilitator, to actually help the client to follow through on that advice. So that's really where we're seeing is the opportunity for coaches is to kind of connect with the emotions conversation. Now a coach has the opportunity to be that person that supports the client to look within themselves. Hey, why have you struggled to follow this diet? Hey, why have you struggled with weight loss for this long? What's going on internally that causes you to want to eat the donuts instead of choose a salad or whatever. You know, it's like it's that deeper reflection. And now the coach has the opportunity to hold space for their clients to look within.
Love that part. Hold the space to look within.
Yeah.
A quote that I always go back to is, we will only do things that we self-discover.
Yeah.
As coaches, how do we help our clients self-discover?
Yeah. Well, I think the key piece is shifting from having the answers to having the questions.
There is gold right there.
Right?
Love that.
Right? What if the best answer for your client was a question? Because when we ask our clients a question and then pause, the client has to go within their own mind to come up with their own answer. And I don't know if you've ever, I mean, you probably have because you're an amazing coach yourself, but had this experience where someone asks you a great question and what comes out of your mouth even surprises you.
Yes.
You know, and when you've asked people questions and then something comes out of their mouth and they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that. Because the question allows the client to dive into their unconscious and find the answer to the question. And so our job as coaches is to learn how to craft better questions, how to hold that kind of unconditionally accepting space that then is almost like a bridge for the client to then start to be unconditionally accepting of themselves so that they can start to make that change. And then it's less about the client needing willpower or the coach needing to be an accountability.
A carrot and stick
Accountability, pleasure, pain, like, hey, do this thing or you're going to have this consequence. It's actually about inviting and creating the space for the intrinsic change to happen in the client so that they're intrinsically motivated to do what they need to do and be who they want to be.
Oh, I love that you've covered that because I see that same shift. I really do. I see it in the businesses that we coach, but I also see it in my space and my team of coaches. That's the skills that we need to develop because the information has never been easier to access and never been more abundant.
Yeah. It's so interesting. One of my close friends who's one of the top coaches in the game, top business coaches, messaged me the other day and he said, the AIs we're building are doing all the business coaching now. Now I'm a mindset coach. And I was like, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Yes, yeah. Learn how to ask better questions.
Help people with their mindset. And that's going to really create longevity for you in the industry.
Another quote that you've got is, it's not about the lead magnet, it's about the magnetism of the leader.
Yes.
And so magnetism is this great word.
Yes.
And we know when someone's magnetic that we are instantly drawn to them. They capture us. They really do. So can you develop magnetism?
You can. You can. Yes, you can. Absolutely. It's a skill. There's this kind of sense that some people just naturally are magnetic, of course. Yes, there is a kind of natural charisma that some people have, but it is also a skill and an aptitude that can be learned. So magnetic leadership, that quote was like kind of pointing at the idea that people kind of get stuck on strategies and, nitpicking about, is it this headline or is it that headline? And you can go down rabbit holes of detail on that and then forget about the things that really matter. And the things that really matter are you trustworthy? Do people listen to you? Do you have authority? Do you have conviction in what you're doing? Are you actually showing up because you care about some mission that people, give a damn about? So these are kind of the qualities that make someone attractive and believable and trustable. And so magnetism can be expanded through more honesty with yourself. Like if you do more emotional processing, then your energy and emotion isn't stuck trying to push down all of your emotions. And so you become more trustworthy because all of your energy is present. So magnetic leadership is kind of a paradox because, it's a magnetic leader is someone who is humble, but also confident. Decisive, but also reflective.
Quite the dichotomy, isn't it?
Independent, but also deeply connected to their communities and tribes, right? They're aspirational, but they're also humble. And so the more dichotomy and the more paradox you can hold in your body, the more magnetic you become.
Oof. I reckon there's a whole episode on that.
There's a whole episode on that. Yeah, I could talk for hours on that. It's one of my greatest kind of explorations in magnetism.
One of the questions that I love to ask all of our guests, Kylie, is what is the best piece of advice you have ever been given or received?
Oh, so good. The best piece of advice. Well, I've received lots of really great advice and lots of great mentorship over the years. But the thing I always come back to and is really a guiding principle in how I kind of operate in life, and I think is really just effective for all humans, particularly at this point in the world where there is so much change, so much uncertainty, so much kind of flux and challenge in many ways, is be the change you want to see in the world. Leaning back to Mahatma Gandhi's teachings of actually showing up in the way that you want to, the things that you want to see in leaders, you show up like that. Show up like that every day. Show up and be the leader of your family, be the leader in your community, be the leader in your business. And the more that each of us can take personal responsibility for how we show up, the better the world is going to be.
And that's where leadership starts.
That's where it starts.
You've got to embody it.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's going to be so many people that have listened to this, watched this episode, that will just want more. They'll want more Kylie.
Yay!
Where can they find you? What's the best way to connect? And then tell us about Supercoach Society, because we were talking off camera. You've relaunched it. It's 2.0, and I know you're really excited about it.
I am really excited about this. Thank you. Well, I am spending more time creating more YouTube content like this. So you can find me on YouTube. You just search for Kylie Ryan. I'll be there. On the internet, Facebook and Instagram, I'm there as, Kylie Ryan, you can find me. I have my new mastermind mentorship program, which is really focused on developing the skills of magnetic leadership and the coaching skills of being a great mindset coach, being a great transformational facilitator, being great at emotional regulation, all of those skills that really make you an excellent leader. All of these kind of leadership skills. I kind of did some research the other day, and it's like humility, communication skills, integrity, ethics, being able to build trust and create psychological safety. I'm like, oh, these are all the things that we train for in coaching, in coach training. So I'm really kind of leaning hard into that, learn and practice great coaching skills. Not necessarily because you want to be a one-on-one coach, but to enhance your leadership skills, to be a great team leader, to be a great parent and, partner. And so Supercoach is really designed for coaches, for professional coaches, to amplify their magnetic leadership and learn the skills to really be not just a good coach, but a super coach,
So good, and such an important skill set in today's world.
It's really important. And I'm just really excited for, the type of people that we have coming in, because I see every single coach that I've ever come across really does want to make a positive difference in the world and really cares about their clients. And I just see sometimes coaches falling into these kind of traps of overgiving, overcaring, or getting resentful of clients because they're kind of in this accountability helicopter parenting style. And if they just had some extra skills, all of that could be alleviated. They could create much better results for their clients. They could feel more confident in growing their business because they know how to deliver. So I'm really excited about sharing that with the world again.
I'm so glad that you've chosen to do so and relaunch it, because every coach out there needs those tools and skills.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe so.
And I concur.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, Kylie, I've absolutely loved today's conversation.
It's been a joy.
It's just time has flown.
It really
We're
has.
getting the wrap up, and I would love to keep this going, so we'll have to bring you back. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Dan.
You've done so much for our community. You've jumped on some of our live calls. You've jumped into some of our face-to-face presentations. You're on this podcast. So thank you for serving my community so well.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. And I'm looking forward to doing it again very soon.
Yay.
Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Profit Made Simple.